You are listening to the Lawyer Stories podcast with host Benny Gold. Lawyer Stories was founded in July 2017 on Instagram and is an expanding global network of lawyers and law students sharing their personal journeys to the noble profession of the practice of law. Join us on this podcast as we dig deeper into these stories and hear from lawyers and law students from around the world in all areas of the legal profession. Here at Lawyer Stories, we believe that every lawyer has a story. What's yours?
Welcome to the Lawyer Stories podcast with Benny Gold. Today we welcome back Sara Shikhman, healthcare attorney and Medspa expert, managing partner at Lengea Law. 20 plus years experience of growing businesses. And you may remember from episode 195 about a year ago. Sara, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Good to be back here.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to see you and catch up. I really enjoyed coffee with you in New York City, live and in person. It's always so exciting to meet somebody from the internet, like that on like Lawyer Stories or whatever, like in person. So thanks for doing that. That was fun. Welcome in.
Thank you. Yeah, whenever people meet me in person, they always tell me I'm shorter than they expected me to be because I think maybe online I have a bigger personality. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. Okay. Well, you never know what to expect, but
Yeah.
it was all good things. So, usually go through the story. We did that in episode 195. You have a great story. I love it because you were born in Ukraine, eventually moved to Brooklyn. Just tell me, I'm not going to go through like the details that we did, but like what was generally like just the background, like what was the transition like as a young person, and like how did it shape your work ethic and your outlook on life?
Yeah, as a young person going to school in Brooklyn, it was public school. I didn't speak any English, but no one spoke English in my class. Like literally, it was a class of
Wow.
immigrants. So that kind of became the standard, like just being able to communicate with people in different ways, however we need to. And I think everyone around us was like relatively poor. And so we didn't feel poor because like everyone was really talking about how, okay, like what could we trade? Can we trade the milk for the pizza at lunch? Like
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't like, oh, like I don't like milk, so I'm not going to drink it. You know, my mom gave me my own personal lunch. It was more like, oh, I'm like still hungry, but maybe I'm lactose intolerant. Well, let me see what I could trade with somebody else.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. So you remember bargaining and negotiating back then as well as like the young Sarah in school.
Yeah.
Um, sure, yeah. So like what inspired you eventually to take on a career in law?
I think it was something that I knew I was always going to do because my parents came to America so their kids could be lawyers or doctors or
Yeah,
engineers and all the things we couldn't be back in Russia or Ukraine. So it was always going to be one of those professions. Lawyer just seemed like the more reading and English focused one as
right.
opposed to the other one. But like if my parents pushed me to be a doctor, I would have been like, okay, let's do medicine. It wasn't like I loved the law or my grandfather was a lawyer or anything like that.
I mean, look, you have med spa in like you wrote a whole book, Med Spa Confidential, and you have like med spa in what you're doing. So it's sort of like medical, right? I mean, you kind of intertwine it. But I think too, like in your in your person, like you're an entrepreneur as well, right? I mean, that's something that definitely we see as the story of Sara Shikhman unfolds.
Yeah,
So looking back, were there any mentors or like defining experiences in law school that you feel like influenced your entrepreneurial mindset that we just spoke of?
yeah, definitely. So I had two interesting internships when I was in college. So I did a lot of things in college. I was the student government president. I started the law society. I had a
Wow.
20-hour-a-week job. I was a full-time student.
Wow.
Um, so one of the jobs I had was I clerked, well, not clerked really because I wasn't just a student. So I worked for a judge. And that work really showed me that maybe being a judge is not exactly what I wanted to do because it was literally looking up different regulations in books and just telling the judge what they are. That was my job. It
Okay.
was it was not fun in
It
the
was
first
not fun. No.
place.
Huh.
No. And then the other job I
And this
had,
was, and let's go back. This is books too. Like this isn't
oh
like
yeah, this
going on.
guy
This
had
isn't like ChatGPT or Google or, that was,
This was back in the year 2000, so like
yes.
25 years ago. Oh my God.
Okay, not to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, but
No, it's
that's not that long ago. I mean, I was doing my thing back then too. So that's really not that long ago. 25 years, it sounds like a lot. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm struggling with all that right now, but that's a different podcast. So,
right.
all right.
Yeah, that's where I interview you.
that's where you interview me. So, all right. So that's interesting. So you're doing this by book, like you're flipping pages looking for the law.
Yeah, I'm looking for the law. I'm flipping pages. Um, talking about precedent all day and doing things in accordance with precedent and not breaking precedent. And that was job number one. Job number two was I was kind of like the secretary for a very successful partner at a big law firm. And I noticed that because he was this very successful partner, he basically had a great life. Like he was the rainmaker partner. He would bring in $20 million worth of business a year. And in
Wow.
exchange, the firm let him just do it his own way. He would smoke in the office. He
Yeah.
would drink in the office.
Oh, yeah.
He would have random visitors in the office. I mean, it was like,
What kind of random visitors?
I
No, I'm
mean,
just kidding. I'm kidding with that. Sorry.
different podcast.
Different podcasts. Oh, different podcasts. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Like, just doing your own. I think you build yourself up that much. You should have like the be able to do it.
Yeah, you should have more freedom for sure. But I also saw that what he did was he really just built relationships with people. Like he wasn't sitting there knocking out the agreements late at night, but he would call his friends, and everyone was his friend, and he would just call people to catch up, and he would do small favors for like everyone. Like if somebody needed anything, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know this guy in South Africa who owns a telephone company. Let me connect you with him." That's
Wow.
all he did all day long. That was like his client development engine. I mean, on a bigger scale, of course.
Right.
And I was
So
like,
just checking in with how would you like how would you like narrow that down? So like checking in with people or just keeping up in touch with people, that sort of thing,
yeah, I
and
think
seeing if they
keeping up,
needed anything.
yeah, keeping in touch with people. And if people ask you for something and you think in your mind, like really creative, like maybe I could make this introduction. Maybe like, oh, they need a painter for their house. Okay,
Right.
like, a painter is going to take me 2 extra minutes. Let me make an introduction. Or they need something quick and simple. I could do that for them. So he would do a lot of these kind of favors. And
Awesome.
also, if he met anyone, he would take their card and he would send them this nice email. On the back of the card, he would write how he met them, like what they were wearing or something interesting. And
Oh,
then
I love
I
that.
would, as his secretary, he would dictate the email. He didn't like to use a computer. So
Okay.
he would dictate the email to me and he'd be like, "Hi, John, it was nice meeting you at the Pierre. I enjoyed our conversation about wine. Let's keep in touch." And I was the one doing all those emails, like 20 emails a day.
That's awesome. That's a fun part of thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So do you think you sort of like took any of those lessons from him?
I did, for sure. I think that I love keeping in touch with people. I always have, and I've
Yeah.
always
Okay.
enjoyed like putting people in touch. And yeah, I
Good.
think
Yeah.
he did it very genuinely, and I do it very genuinely. Like
Sure.
it feels good to be able to help someone in a small way.
It does. I love that too. That really like I love doing that. So, did you have pen pals when you were younger?
Um, no, I
Okay.
didn't. Did you?
Do you know what pen pals are? It's like when
Like
you
people from like other
well, like
places
you write the
write
letter
letters to them?
and you send it. It takes like 5 weeks to get there, and then they write one back. It's like anyway. All right. So
I didn't know English, so I couldn't write it.
that's true. That might have been tough. All right. So you shared publicly that like bunch of years ago you left big law, so you did have the big law experience, right? And then you went you took a role at a bank, and then ran a furniture company.
hmm
So like what was going through your mind at the moment? Was that like an entrepreneurial moment for you?
Yeah, so I took the job at the bank from I was at a big firm called Cadwalader for a few years. Then everyone said, "Well, going in-house is going to be great. You should try going in-house. It's such a great lifestyle, whatever." So I took a job at a big bank working in-house, but it was like super boring for me and not very impactful. And again, it was more about just like signing on the dotted line and some contracts. It was literally frustrating because it was literally 1 hour of work for not for an 8 hour day, which of course, like in
Wow,
some ways,
really?
maybe if I had amazing hobbies then or a family, maybe I'd be like, that's an awesome job. But it was really boring and not impactful.
So it was
Uh,
like a full-time job, but you had like 1 hour work to do a day.
yes,
So what
yes.
do people do in that situation like the rest of the day?
I mean, I started a company. That's what I
Okay.
did.
All
But other
right.
people, I think they were reading the Wall Street Journal and other things like
Okay.
that, or chit-chatting amongst themselves about
Right,
like
right.
football and other things.
Okay.
So I don't know. Yeah. And I used to go door to door to the managing directors of the bank and literally say, like, hey, can I do anything for you? Like, I understand that most of you guys are finance guys. Like, I may not be able to like build a model, but anything, like, I'm happy to help. And they were like, well, like, I don't have anything for you. It's okay. I was like, okay.
All right. Well, and that was within the same company?
Yes, this was within
Okay.
the same company, this big
Well, at least they
German
saw
bank.
that you were, you were trying. You were trying to put your best foot
Yeah,
forward. So then what tell us about the move on to the company that you built, I guess.
yeah.
Um,
So the furniture company, my friends wanted to start a furniture company and an online furniture company, and this was back in like 2007, 2008. And they
right.
needed a CEO, and I guess they were looking for a CEO with no experience because they talked to me and they were like, Sarah, you're a smart person. You should be the CEO of our company. And I said, okay, but I don't know anything about like your business, except I have helped sell furniture.
Sarah,
I'm
have
very
you ever sat on a couch? Yes, I have.
right.
You're the CEO. Is that
Right.
what?
Something like that. They're
Yeah.
like, well, you more than anyone can figure things out. So, and that company promised something different. They promised the ability for me to learn how to do online marketing, to
Yeah.
manage a pretty large team
Okay.
eventually, to grow something however I wanted to. They were like, we're not going to micromanage you, just grow this business.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And so
So
I
what did
quit.
you do? Like what? Oh, go ahead. You quit the job.
I quit the job.
Yeah.
I rented a one-room office
Okay.
on 32nd Street in Koreatown. And I hired an intern from my undergrad. And me and the
Wow.
intern sat there and we hired a website company to build an online website to sell furniture. And we taught ourselves Google marketing.
Okay. And this turned into this was the next IKEA, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Right, right. It was much smaller than IKEA,
No.
but it turned into a multi-million dollar business.
Oh my
And
goodness. Wait, wait, wait. That's incredible. So what did you do to get it there?
I mean, a lot of different things. I think we tried a lot of new things where people were like, people don't buy furniture online. And we were like, no, I see other people selling it, so people must be buying it. So we found a new way to describe things to make them very descriptive and make videos so people could really feel the furniture without sitting on the couch. And then we made our advertising very specific so that we would capture buyers who are specifically looking for the things that we're selling, not just like Googling brown sofa, but talking about brown sofa bed that's 36 inches wide or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, so we did that and
That's unbelievable. So, and then you wouldn't have any inventory. It would just go from like one place to
correct.
the
It
other.
was
That's a big
drop
leap.
shipping.
Drop
So
shipping.
yeah. Yeah, so and then we hired a big overseas team and a lot of like back in the day, 20 years ago, not a lot of people were doing that.
Right.
So yeah, we were able to provide like real-time order statuses to our customers and had good customer service and good reviews. And so people kept coming back and referring their friends and the business grew and it's still in existence today. So
It is.
uh,
Wow.
yeah,
That's unbelievable.
I just sold my shares in it a year ago, less than a year
Really?
ago. Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank
That's
you. Yeah.
amazing. That's really cool. Um, so so like how did you end up what did you do next after that? You'd left the bit. What made you how long were you there and what made you leave?
So I was there for, let's see, about 6 years, I
Okay.
think. Yeah, and I really liked it, but at the same time, I felt like there were other things I could be doing, and I didn't really have a passion for furniture. Like the
Yeah.
product itself was not exciting to me. It
Okay.
wasn't really changing people's lives in any way. It was just, I mean, it was, but it wasn't. It wasn't like making people more beautiful or happier, and it was just a sofa.
Yeah, no, I mean that like makes sense. Like how did you learn to trust your instinct though to like go to the next thing? And like what was the next thing?
Yeah, I think I early on realized like what's the worst case scenario? Let's say I totally fail. I already have this Ivy League law degree and this experience, right? So at the end of the day, like I could probably do like document review or be someone's secretary or Like worst case scenario, if everything falls apart, I'll always probably have a job, some kind of job. So knowing that and knowing that like I have this alternative, then I was like, I could take risk because in this situation, I'm not going to be homeless. I need to try it. I'm only going to live once. I don't want to
Right.
be there regretting not having tried.
Right.
Uh, and I've met so many amazing, incredible entrepreneurs who have tried, and the difference between them and me was just trying harder, trying longer, not being smarter, not being better educated, not being more connected, more just being more persistent. And so that's my secret sauce, the persistence.
I love that. Tell me more about that. Like you being persistent and like maybe execution, like actually doing it. People can have ideas, but they don't necessarily like, do them.
Yeah, I don't
So
want to say I
you
hate it.
see people. So give me an example. Like you've seen people, obviously not naming any names, but like you see people maybe work at something for 6 months and then get frustrated with something, like it doesn't work out. Like, so tell me about that a little bit. Like, and then you kind of just keep going.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is being able to pivot. Like as the market shifts, and sometimes it shifts pretty quickly, we have to be able to really adjust and pivot and say, okay, this is not working so well. Let me keep going, but change. So I think what separates people who are successful from people who give up or who are less successful is this ability to just say, you know what, I'm not perfect. This company's not perfect. We need to change this and this, and let's quickly change them. And
Okay.
that's really what I believe in and what I see. So every industry, every company has this natural like curve where the industry or the company becomes mature and then stops growing. But to elongate that curve and to prevent that from happening, you just have to keep changing like what it is that you're doing, making it more efficient, and even saying like, okay, are we in the car business or are we in the transportation business, right? Am I in the law firm business or am I in the customer service business? Two very different things, but we can do both.
Wow. So if you have like, if you're within your company and you're building and you have like maybe two or three or and working on four stream of income within that company, and maybe one isn't producing as much, and like maybe you need to kind of like cut your losses or something, and then like work on the ones that are working. Is that sort of like,
Yeah, definitely. Or really constantly watching the numbers and saying, okay, maybe this is not working that well. What am I seeing in the market that could be better? How can we pivot? How can we quickly make these changes? I think a lot of times people wait for the perfect moment,
mm,
especially in law. We're like, oh, I'm not going to do this until like it's perfect. We're not going to launch this until it's bulletproof. We're not going to like press go on this project until like three people sign off. Just do the damn thing. Like,
just do the damn thing. I love
yeah.
that. So like, what are the things that like fueled your growth? Like, what was it that really like just kept going? We're talking about like the e-commerce company, like the furniture, just keeping going, or like what was like the main thing, and like what advice can you give to somebody to keep going?
I think that we all have to remember that everyone experiences like the downsides and bad days. And especially with social media today, like people are not posting their bad days online usually. People are posting their wins and their awards and stuff. But just imagine, and I try to imagine this myself, for all your competitors and all that you're seeing posted, you see one post and it's very happy. For everyone, there's five or 10 that they didn't post where there's problems and trouble and whatever. And so just keep that in mind, ignore what you see on social media and just push yourself and keep going because the difference between really successful people and not is just the push. It's not like brain power or pedigree or some other things. It's really about just like not letting yourself stay on the ground once you've fallen because we all fall, at least once a week.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you think like people should give up after a certain amount of time period? I mean, we talk about persistence, but how long can you really like give something to take off? You know?
Well, I think you have to keep changing the idea. So
Yeah.
I think like it really depends, right? You have to consider like what's the sales, to be very practical, what's the sales cycle of your typical customer? If it's 30 days and you've given it a year, so 12 sales cycles, and you haven't really made much progress, I would say it's time to give up. It's time to pivot.
Pivot.
Doesn't mean stop, turn everything off, but maybe think about selling a different product, marketing in a different way. So, but if you have like a 5-year sales cycle kind of company, then maybe 5 years is the right number, or even 10 years. But then it's much more like risky, right? Like if it takes 5 years for you to figure out whether you have a good product, like you better have a good product.
Yeah, it better pay off in the end too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's. What are some common mistakes you see? I mean, I know we talked about maybe giving up too early, not really taking a hit if something doesn't work out for like the first week or something. But like, what do you see for common mistakes with founders?
Well, I think a lot of times founders hire the wrong people and then keep them around for too long. I
Okay,
think hiring mistakes are a big thing that I see. A lot of times,
interesting.
we want to see the best in people, and sometimes it's just not the right person. Sometimes you just made a mistake. And if once you realize that, once you realize the person is not a good fit, they're like a cancer in your organization. You have
Oof.
to get rid of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Sometimes that's hard. I mean, if it's a friend or somebody like you've worked with for a while, and your business is taking like a different shape, and that might not be their particular skill,
yeah.
that could be difficult.
Yeah, and I think it's also these different businesses where friends and family are involved are difficult because sometimes, like, just because they're your significant other, your best friend, doesn't mean that they're going to be a good business partner. Like, I always tell my clients and my friends, like, please date before you get married. And that's the same thing with your
Yeah,
business.
yeah,
Please, like, you want to be business partners, why don't you guys just try working together on a project first and
it's
see,
true.
like, open the business yourself. This person wants to be your partner. They'll still want it in 6 months. See, pay them for their time as a consultant or whatever for the first 6 months. Just make sure you guys can get along. You're
Right.
gonna realize, when money is involved, like, people change.
Yeah, things get weird. I mean, I bet maybe it's that people just, it's like their company's like their baby and they don't want to let anybody in that they don't know and they're sort of like nervous. So they maybe trust their friends or family member more. So they want them to be working with them, even if they're not like the exact correct fit, maybe.
True, but if they're incompetent, they're gonna
Yeah.
make all your competent people leave because they're
Right.
gonna say,
That's
"Oh,
true.
like, you tolerate your incompetent brother, but but I'm much more competent than that person." Like, then that more competent person is going to leave. So yeah, that happens all the time. I was talking to two founders about this weekend,
Yeah.
and I was like, they were like, "What do you have any advice for us?" I said, "Yeah, fire your brother."
Wow. And what they say.
I think like the guy tried to walk away from the conversation. Actually, it was at a cocktail party, so it was
Okay.
kind of, but it was interesting. Like, it was two guys and one guy, and then it was a brother that
Was the
wasn't.
brother standing right there?
The brother wasn't there. The brother,
Oh,
but
oh.
one of the guy's brother is also in the company, and they were talking about the problems their company was having and asking me for advice.
Hmm.
And after a few minutes, it's presumptive of me to say, but after a few minutes, I could tell what the issue was. And I said, "You need to fire your brother."
Oh, wow.
And the guy, yeah, and the guy kind of like, walked away a little bit, but it's okay, no
And
problem.
that,
I'm used to that sometimes.
you're used to that. I love it.
Yeah.
Honesty will do that to people, I guess, but
Yeah.
that's good. So, like, what's your favorite part about helping entrepreneurs, especially in the med spa and aesthetics industry that you're in? You're turning small beginnings into thriving, sellable businesses. What do you love so much about it?
The small beginnings. I think I love seeing people start small, which I think is very smart, and really build bigger businesses. Like, I love the one room office entrepreneur because I was the one room office entrepreneur. I was also that in the med spa industry when I started a med spa. So I know the business. I was standing in their shoes. At the same time, I could offer them a few pieces of advice, but it's all about implementing the advice. So it's like, I love the people who listen to the advice and do amazing things with it. And I love people like grow from small entrepreneurs to really people running big companies who really believe in themselves, who have a big team now, who
Yeah.
are able to do like amazing things with their family, who now drive a Lamborghini. You know,
Wow.
so it's kind of fun. I'm like, oh my God, like, now I actually have clients who drive these fancy cars and live in fancy places, and that's awesome.
Wow, that's amazing. What's like the first thing you tell them? Like, I know it probably depends on their business, but what are a couple like what are like three critical steps that you know you'll if that'll determine whether a business stays small or breaks through to the next level?
Um, I think this is true for any business, and
Hmm.
probably a lot of legal advice is get it in writing. So
Hmm.
if you are set on having a partner, if you're set on having employees, make sure you have a contract with that person and make sure the contract is good.
Okay.
Um, I think that's one, and but that's kind of a basic thing.
Sure.
The other thing is, I don't think about buying fancy things in order to bring in clients. They're not going to. So if you buy
Okay.
in the medical spa space, like people buy really fancy equipment or do very fancy office build outs for millions of dollars, but none of those things bring in clients. So people spend $1 million on a build out and have $10,000 left on marketing. That's the wrong formula.
Okay.
So I tell people like, look, start with a small space, but spend the money on marketing. So that's one of my main pearls of advice for people and probably any small business.
So what's like going on in a med spa? Like what is inside like a
Oh, what's not going on?
no, like what's inside the room? Like you say like start with a small room. So like what would that consist of?
Yeah, so in the typical med spa room, you would have a treatment chair, which is
Okay.
like a reclining kind of chair,
Yep.
and you would have a fridge, which is where some product would be stored. Like so, things like Botox and stuff like that have to be refrigerated. So you would have a fridge.
Okay.
You would have a medical light, so you could see the person really well.
Okay.
And you'd probably have like a box for syringes and sharps, and then you would have a
Yep.
trash can, and that's it. It's a pretty
Yeah. You
bare
need a
setup
special trash can for those things, right?
to do.
Okay. So hey, look at
Yeah,
that.
don't throw out your syringes in the regular trash.
Yeah.
No good.
Sorry. No, don't do that. So that's really interesting. Like, meaning, like, why that? Like, what intrigues you about it so much? I mean, you went from like a furniture company that was like doing so well that you scaled, and then now, and I know you love to like help people and watch these things grow, but like, why that? Why that way?
Yeah, I think that in healthcare, especially non-insurance based healthcare in the US,
Okay.
there's so much potential for growth. Like everyone wants better service, everyone
Interesting.
wants like faster appointments, real-time availability, booking online, telemedicine, and then the whole idea of personalized care, like based on your blood work, for them to prescribe you certain hormones and supplements and things like that. So that whole industry is really, I think, exploding with growth. And what's nice about customers in that industry, it's not like a one and done thing. It's not like buying a bedroom set and then maybe 5 years later you get another one. This is like something where customers come back every month or every 3 months. So it's amazing recurring revenue for
Hmm.
businesses,
Right. Right.
not subject to insurance.
Okay, not so that's interesting. So yeah, I saw a clip about something the other day. Like there's different streams of income. You can make somebody like a member, they can come like once a month or whatnot, and they have like different products. Like you sell like the products out of your room, you know. So what's the next step? Like if somebody has a med spa and they're they have the chair, they have the fridge, they have the syringes and the couple buckets and the light. Like what are they doing like next to like what would be a piece of advice?
Yeah, so first they need to hire a lawyer to help them with the legal setup. So just because they have spa in the name doesn't mean that it's just regulated like a spa.
And
They
that would
need
be you, your firm?
That would be me, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So my firm, Lengea Law, like we do that every single day. We have 10 attorneys now who just do aesthetics, med spa law pretty much exclusively. So one of the things that we do is we do the contracts. So these people will need someone called a medical director. They're going to need like HIPAA and OSHA compliance material. So we do all that.
Interesting.
Um, and what's interesting is the law has changed in a lot of states where people like nurse practitioners, for example, have what's called full practice authority. So these individuals can open up their own nursing or medical practice. So initially, it used to be 50 years ago, only a doctor could have his own office.
Hmm.
Now, in many states, like for example, New York, a nurse practitioner, provided some requirements are met, can open up her very own practice. She doesn't need medical oversight. So now there's thousands of other people who can open these kind of businesses. So
Wow.
because of this legal change, that's true in I think 30 states right now. Um, nurse practitioners can do this business too, which is cool. They used to just be able to essentially work for someone else in a hospital.
Okay. So yeah, that is great. And nurse practitioners are very good too. I mean, they're
Mhm.
really, a lot of people go in when they want to see the doctor. Doctor's not available, see the nurse practitioners. So what about jurisdictionally speaking? Like, will you handle any type of a med spa in any jurisdiction, help people get set up?
Yeah, so between our team, we're licensed in about 30 states. So
Wow.
we
Okay.
handle a lot of states, not every single one. I'm licensed in 7. So we handle a lot of
Really?
the Northeast
Nice.
states. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been a fun process getting licensed in all the states and doing the continuing education and stuff and memorizing all the distinctions between states. So yeah, we help people all around the country. We have a lot of clients in California, Texas, New York, Florida, but everywhere pretty much.
Okay. Um, Tell me a little about your speaking engagement. When I saw you, you were going off to Ohio to speak. And like, what do you usually talk about at any of these speaking engagements? Like, who's your audience and what are you saying?
Yeah, usually I'm talking to healthcare practice owners and I'm talking about something related to compliance, HR, board investigations, just running your business. So in that particular one, I was speaking to med spa owners about how to protect yourself if a regulator comes to your office, for example, like the nursing board. So that's happening more and more in my industry where um, people are going like undercover, booking appointments, pretending to be patients, but they're actually from like the medical board or the nursing board. So it's interesting because I think in the legal profession, it doesn't really happen. You don't have like, oh, hey, I'm John from the bar association pretending to, be a prospective customer. But
Right, right.
medical board side, that's happening all the time.
Okay. All right. Tell me about Medspa Confidential. Like, why is it so confidential? Like, what are you saying in there, Sarah?
Yeah, so
It always that thing intrigued me. Your book, Medspa Confidential, and I saw like the name of it. I'm like, oh, that sounds juicy. I don't. That's like the third grader in me. Sorry. I don't-
yeah, well, my ex-husband's divorce lawyer also wanted to know what confidential things are you saying in the book? So it's kind of funny. I had a whole deposition related to the contents of the book, and I said, "Listen, it's just
Really?
yes, just to waste my time, really."
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but the book is about how to start med spas based on our experience. And our meaning, I had a co-author who was this very successful doctor who sold her practice for millions of dollars and also started from scratch. So she had ovarian cancer and
Okay.
um, she wanted to like leave a legacy and I wanted to help people start this kind of business. And so we got together and we decided to write this book together. It took almost a year of writing and some time to edit it. And now we've sold thousands of copies and people in our industry read it and we spill all the secrets of how to do it.
I'd
It just
love an autographed copy. I know I told you that. I really like, a couple people have sent me like a couple books, like autographed books like that
yeah, I'm so
on the
bad. I
podcast.
know you keep
No, it's
asking me.
okay. It's all right. I'll ask you again next time too. But no, that's really cool. Okay, so so med spas, do men come in there for any treatment?
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, is that like the Botox and stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, men do lots of different treatments. Men
Okay.
actually are like a big growing market.
Okay.
Yeah, men do lots of different things. And it's interesting because I think 10 years ago, 20 years ago, men didn't do that much. And now uh, gay men and straight men both are doing lots of different things. And a lot of men, even it's interesting, in a competitive job market, a man who's, let's say, 60 and
Mhm.
wants to apply for some, different types of jobs, comes in and says, like, look, make me look 55 or 50 because I'm trying to get these like upper management level jobs, but I don't want to make it look like I'm ready to retire.
Right.
So literally,
Right.
like older professional men come into med spas too.
Wow. Yeah, that's it's amazing. So back to the book. Like, what Med Spa Confidential, what can people expect to learn from it?
They can learn how to start a med spa business from scratch. So we go
Wow.
over like the marketing, the HR aspects, the legal aspects. So it's a really good primer on how to start this kind of business and how to not overspend essentially.
Okay.
One of our biggest philosophies is you don't need to spend $1 million to start this kind of business. You could start something with 50,000. or
Yeah,
less.
that's amazing. And nurse practitioners too in 30
Mhm.
states can do
Yeah,
that as well. Um, so do you have any speaking engagements coming up?
I do. I have one in Philadelphia in November. And I have one in Boston next week. Our firm is going to this legal conference where we're getting an award.
It's
And so we're
amazing.
talking about how to grow a scalable law firm and stuff. So
Wow.
that'll be cool.
Congratulations. What is the what's the award for? Just like growing firms or
Yeah, so Clio, which is like a big software
Yep.
provider for law firms, they do this different awards for different categories, and the award we won is for best growth story for a law firm because we've grown so much and
Yeah, yeah.
in a short period of time. So we're going to talk about how to do that.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I hope I can, I don't know, give people some useful information. I think
Yeah, I'm sure.
hard.
I'm sure. I
A
mean,
lot
this
of it
is
is
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
like a lot of it is execution, and
Yeah.
it's not so much like I don't have like some amazing idea, I didn't invent like I don't know the next iPhone. It's more about just being consistent and trying and not really not giving up, even if sometimes you may make a big mistake.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think that that's such good advice from a very successful person. So the I do appreciate the business advice and learning about it, and I really do like talking about this stuff with you. I think you have great ideas, and it's very interesting. Is there anything else you wanted to say today in today's episode?
Um, no, I think we covered a lot. And I mean, you talk to so many smart lawyers and business people, so you're lucky in that you get to hear from a lot of people and have all the good advice. Maybe you should write a book. We talked about this last time too, right?
No,
I
I do
think.
want to write a book. I think I might actually. I'll tell you about the idea next time I see you.
Okay.
But it is a book idea that I've been kicking around for like 6 years.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I'll tell you about it. So
Cool. Awesome.
yeah. So Sarah, stay right there. Very good episode. Thanks so much for sharing all that with me. I love hearing about the med spa stuff. It's really cool. I want to hear more about the growth and everything at some point.
Thank
So
you.
everybody, thanks for tuning in. And wherever you are in the world today, enjoy yourself.